My name is Gary Smithwick. I have been a resident of Goldsboro for 50 some years. My background is I'm a native North Carolinian, and I've lived in eastern North Carolina all my life, fortunately. I was born in Durham. My family moved to Wilmington, then to Jacksonville. And basically, I grew up in Jacksonville, graduated from Jacksonville High School, started my college career at UNC Chapel Hill, and eventually finished at Atlantic Christian College, which is now Barton College. I came to Goldsboro in 1966. The primary reason being that my fiance lived here, and my future father-in-law offered me a job, which I accepted on a part-time basis, and believe it or not, that part-time job lasted over 50 years. So here I am.
Perfect. And you are part of the Rotary organization here in Wayne County. Tell me a little bit about what made you want to get involved into an organization like Rotary.
Well, I had a lot of friends who were active Rotarians, and from time to time they would approach me and say, "Isn't it time that you joined Rotary?" And I would say, "Give me a little time. Things are coming along pretty good at the company, and I'll have more time." Well, they finally nailed me in like 1993, I believe, and I almost immediately became active in Rotary, and am all the better and all the happier and more satisfied for it. It's a marvelous service organization. I've made a lot of friends. I've built on friendships that I had before Rotary, and I'm making new friendships and acquaintances. Today we inducted 7 new members today, and as I understand it, we will induct 3 more new members sometime in the next week or two. So, we've made it through the pandemic. We lost some members, and like all clubs did, and now we've established a growth pattern, and we're doing great things. We got great leadership, and we are everything that you would expect in a service club.
Absolutely. And when did you first join a Rotary? Do you remember the year?
I think it was '93.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've been a Rotarian for 26, maybe 27 years, something like that.
And how long has the Rotary Club here in Goldsboro been around?
Well, I think we were something like the 15th or 16th Rotary Club established in North Carolina in 1920. So we are over 100 years old, just barely. And we have sponsored three other clubs since then: Mount Olive, Fremont, and Goldsboro Three Eagles. So we're very proud of that, and still maintain obviously a relationship with all those clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you first joined Rotary, what was your initial impression of the Rotary organization, and what did you believe at that time that was going to be the main thing that you got out of it being in Rotary?
Well, I'll be honest. I didn't know, but I one of the Rotary provides an opportunity for service, and it provides an opportunity for acquaintance, and I think that probably those were the 2 principal reasons. And at the time, our club was probably numbered somewhere around 85 members of such, but um, um, only probably 50% of the club members were actually active. And so through the work of a handful of club members who later recruited me in that effort, through the rest of the 90s, we sort of thinned the ranks and also brought some new members in, established some important matters had really been dropped in the prior 15 or 20 years, and so we got back on target. And since that time, there have been one or two problems that obviously the most recent one was the pandemic. We've had several floods resulting from hurricanes, and we've had to move our meeting place. We had been at the Goldsboro Country Club for many years, and we had a really great relationship with the club management, and the club faltered, like the country club faltered, and so we had to move our meeting site, and we lost some members because of that. With the new site was really the only place we could find at the time, but it was a stretch for a lot of our club members to get there and then get back to work in a prompt manner. So now we're meeting downtown at St. Paul Methodist Church, and it's been fantastic. They've been very generous to us, and it's accessible to everybody, and we're enjoying that change of venue.
Absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit more about your personal time in Rotary. And you told me that you started out as a member in the 90s. How did you evolve as a Rotary Club member? Did you ever serve in any officer positions?
I did. They usually don't wait too long. If you show any interest at all, you're usually tabbed for a committee, and then they'll ask you to consider. Club presidency, I've always considered a 3-year commitment. When the first year is the president-elect, and when you learn a lot more about what the president does, the year of service as president, and then assisting that 3rd year. And so Rotary also has a very good training series that's called PETS, P-E-T-S, and that's for Presidents-Elect Training Seminar. So before your president year, you go to a central meeting place. Ours is Greensboro, North Carolina. And you get a full weekend of indoctrination beyond, what are the expectations of the president. And so it's extremely helpful. And I enjoyed my PETS experience, and the club insists. As a matter of fact, the district insists if you don't go to PETS, you are not allowed to serve as a club president. So that's how important it is. Okay, so I served as club president. I served on maybe 1 or 2 committees prior to that, and I believe it was 97, 98, and then. In maybe 99, 2000, I was asked to serve as an assistant governor. And that was the 2nd year that they had implemented that plan throughout Rotary International. And so we were very new to that. And there are, in our district, which is principally northeastern North Carolina. There are 8 areas. We're Area 7, which now includes 4 clubs. So each area will consist of 4 to 5 clubs. And so I served as assistant governor, which I enjoyed very much because I became I came more aware of what was going on at the other clubs in the area, and all of them happened to be in Wayne County, so there was not a lot of travel involved. But there were district meetings, and so I became acquainted with the district leadership, and so I served on a review committee for those Rotarians who had made the cut, so to speak, maybe 3 to 4, and that committee was responsible for selecting the new district governor. That was a terrific experience for me. And then in successive years, 2002 or 3, 4, somewhere around there, I was district membership chair, and so in that capacity, I traveled throughout the district, promoting Rotary and encouraging growth, and not only growth in new members, but stability and retaining existing members, which is a very important part of membership. Beyond that, I haven't had any district responsibilities. I was asked several times to throw my hat in the ring, so to speak, and for district governor, and I gave it a lot of thought, and I really wanted to do it, but I didn't. And it's a huge job, a volunteer job. I mean, you're spending an awful lot of time, and frankly, your own expense, some expense. But I've remained very close to our local club, and I still go to most meetings. I think attendance is extremely important, and I mean, it's like today. The district governor visited our club. He just happens to be from Goldsboro too. He's from the Three Eagles Club, and he inducted those new members, which was really special. So it was a great meeting, and we've had some really good meetings lately, which is also critical to how well a club functions and how membership growth is affected.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to ask you, throughout your time in Rotary since the very beginning, what impact do you continuously see that Rotary makes on Wayne County as a whole?
Well, I don't know if anybody has ever mentioned to you that it used to. Now I don't know what they do now, because I don't go to any of the district meetings. But years ago, each Rotary Club had 4 avenues of service: club, community, vocational, and international. Okay, so club, the welfare of individual members, membership growth, retention of members, good programs, so on and so forth. Community service, we've always been, and I'd say in the last 20 to 25 years, community service has really shown from our club. We've introduced a few new programs. Community grants was something that we did for a few years. That for a couple of years was dormant because that club, in between that interim few years, that leadership had other priorities, and that was fine. I will say this: the first when we first initiated community grants, our club president was Jane Rustin, who was the head librarian of Wayne County Public Library. A delightful lady. And so I wanted to give her that plug. We still do that. And we are doing things right now for the women's shelter. Those women who have been abused and along with their children. We have a special project that we've been working on just for them, which is the total renovation of their in-house laundry, and so that's been exciting, and that's something new, So we will right now our annual. Oh gosh, I always want to call it something else. Our annual salute to heroes, which is the flag project at Wayne Community College. Have you seen it since Saturday with all the flags up?
Yes, sir. I passed by it today.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful?
Great. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, that's great. So that's twofold. We salute those men and women who, in our individual minds, are heroes. It could be your mother or dad or both. It could be, in my case, this year, I had two uncles on my father's side. One died in World War II. The other served in World War II in North Africa and Europe, and then served in Korea. He was a hero. Another hero for me is one of our employees at Turner Equipment Company. He was in the Air Force for 24 years. He served abroad in Desert Storm, and he was in Iraq, Kuwait, and so on. He's been with us for 15 or 16 years since he retired. But no doubt, he's a hero. And my fourth one was Bill Broadaway, who is a sitting member of Goldsboro City Council. And Bill is a retired Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel. And he's a Vietnam vet, and Bill's done lots of stuff. He had a great military career, and he's been significant in community affairs as well, community service. He was a Rotarian for a while, and then I think his community service became a little overwhelming, and so he had to give up some things. But Bill's done a great job. One thing I did want to mention about Rotary, everything begins at the club level, which is, I think, interesting because any project that is far-reaching. Now, some projects are going to be in Goldsboro and Wayne County. Some other projects are going to be somewhere in the district. Some projects will be somewhere across the nation. We participated in one just before my year as president, the district governor was from Goldsboro, and his counterpart was a district governor from one of the districts in the Philippines. And so we paid for a well and pump clean water for I forgot the name, but anyway, it's that was very interesting. That was basically, aside from just participating in the district, giving them money for a project. Current district governor has tabbed another water project in Ghana. Clean water and sanitary facilities are just so lacking in third world countries, and it's you just don't survive, and you don't survive in a healthy way if you don't have clean water. So these are big projects, and we have something coming up whereby we're doing there is a product that it's almost like a straw. It's got an active chemicals in it, and you can take dirty water within reason, and immediately it becomes drinkable, potable. So that's something that's upcoming. But anyway, like I said, everything begins at the club level. A word about vocational service. This has really been interesting and fun for me. We have what we call, of course, we honor all vocations and professions, and that's one of the things that we do. When we come in, we're reminded that we're all representing our own particular industry. Whether you're a lawyer, or in our case, we're a manufacturer. Could be a nurse. You could be a legal secretary. Now you don't have to be you don't have to be the CEO of an organization to be a Rotarian now, and so we've broadened our appeal, and we've broadened our diversity in doing so, and it's been great. By the way, I was going to say vocational visits. We try to do it quarterly. We will go to a business or an organization, could be a nonprofit, could be a manufacturer, could be a health organization, hospital, whatever. And we will get a tour of all or part of the facility, depending on how big it is and how much time we have. And we typically will, eat a box lunch prior to the tour, and then go. That's been very interesting, and you really, I think it really puts you in touch with a lot of other organizations within Goldsboro and Wayne County. We've been to Mount Olive Pickle, we've been to the hospital a number of times, and going to various, we'll focus on a particular department. So we've done quite a bit of that, and we'll continue to do that. Our participation, that fourth area of service, international, basically it would be on a district. Our club would participate as part of the district, and then the district would probably participate, with another district across the globe, and that would be rearranged by Rotary International, which is in Evanston, Illinois. I'm surprised they're still in Illinois, but anyway, that's another matter. But the foundation, Rotary Foundation, is a marvelous organization and has just done incredible good works everywhere. And so we encourage all of our members to donate to the foundation, and once you have donated $1,000, you become a Paul Harris Fellow, which is very nice recognition. Paul Harris was the founder of Rotary in 1905 in Chicago. So that's where there is in Evanston still. So yeah, I mean, it's polio eradication that's a project that was started by a club in Australia in the late 80s, and that has blossomed to the point that there's only one or two countries that are what we would say where polio is endemic, and Pakistan has always been one that's, you know, it's cleared, and then a year or two later, you know, something will pop up, and so there are 2 or 3 countries like that, and but it's been a major undertaking, and of course there's been beyond Rotary. Rotary started that project, and then it's been picked up, like the Gates Foundation, Bill and Melinda, thank you. They've given millions to that effort. So that's where we are right now. Community service. I mentioned the salute to our heroes. That is a community service. That's a acknowledgement of the folks who, in some cases, have given, you know, the extreme, and but it allows us to. It's also we sell the flags, and we generally will have some sort of profit at the end, and most of that, if not all, goes to scholarships. Very simply called Rotary Scholarships, and we used to have them named. They were named after a couple of outstanding citizens over years past. One was the longtime principal of Goldsboro High School, who was also a Rotarian. But anyway, we do scholarships for graduating seniors. I think the amounts have varied, $500 and $1,000, and depending on our success at raising funds through the year, will determine basically how many scholarships we're able to give. We also, in terms of working with youth in literacy, we do a dictionary project every year whereby we give a Webster's softcover dictionary to every 3rd grade student in Wayne County.
Yes. Public,
private, homeschool, you know, whatever. And we've been doing that for probably close to 20 years.
I still have mine in my bookshelf.
Do you really?
Yes.
Great.
And my final question for you is, what would be some advice you would give to a person new to Rotary that wants to join, what would be your best piece of advice for them?
Well, you took away my answer. My first advice would be to anybody that wants to become involved in the community is to join a Rotary Club, for sure. I would direct them to all of the clubs that are available and remind them that we are the original in Wayne County, and we think the best. But that's the reason that some clubs meet for breakfast, some clubs meet for lunch, and very few now, but there used to be some that would meet for early evening meetings and a meal. But yes, my recommendation would be join Rotary and get involved. You will benefit by getting involved, making a contribution, participating, showing up. Sometimes it's just that easy. If you show up enough, you're going to get placed on a committee. So anyway, it's a great organization, and I would recommend it to young, actually, young folks coming into a community, but it doesn't have to be. It could be people who've lived here all their lives, and the advice would be the same.